Blessings, peace, and blessings. It's your brother J. Coleman coming at y'all again. Brother Chief Fireheart. I had to tap in for y'all again. You know, family, a lot of us have to admit, no matter what way we see it, that we've been lied to in all directions. From left, right, south, east, we've been lied to about a lot of things pertaining to us as a people here in America. And this is talking strictly of people here in America, as Malcolm said, Aborigines. But it's still a lot of us that I'm not gonna be precocious about this because it ain't even no use to, because a lot of y'all brothers that's talking African talk, talking to you from Africa, y'all probably are African and coming here trying to manipulate the American Negroes, you would call it. I'm gonna use those terms to continue to convince us to focus on a country that doesn't focus on us. And this not to say hate Africa, but Africa have a lot of messed up traits, and Africa has always been in the den and been on the white man's lap. Okay, let's keep it 100. Secondly, the Pan African movement. Let's come on. Let's keep it 100. It's over. Y'all already know from the research you have done that you know that so-called what you would call African people was here already. Y'all will admit that, but you can't admit the fact that it's a whole nother tribe or a phenotype of people that existed prior before, from what I found out, than what you would call the name Africa. The name Africa ain't even old. We're older than the name Africa. Okay, so how if black people was here when we were here, what was our name? When there wasn't no such thing as the word Africa. Wonder what that's called. Y'all didn't think about that one. Second, another way. What do you call the Atlantic and the Pacific? The Atlantic is a very, 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 very aggressive ocean, just as well as the Pacific is considered a peaceful ocean, more subtle. You can sail on it good. Remember, no one had no motors or anything like that. And then these ships wasn't no big old Titanics or anything like that. But they ship so-called ship 12 million. Some people say 20 million. I mean, I done seen brother get boisterous with it, boy. And you send 20 million Africans up a aggressive ocean with how many white people on the ship? So that means, say if they took 100 niggas every day, you know what I'm saying? That's 365,000 niggas a day, a year. So that means 365, I'm just hypothetically speaking, 365,000 niggas a year. 100 people, 100 niggas on a boat. I'm just saying 100 niggas, not all that fake ass model painted ass shit they talking about when niggas are stacked on each other like that. I'm just adding that up. Now add $365,000, 1,000 people a year. So 365, you put 10 times 365,000, what you get? Hmm? Still ain't got it. You get what I'm saying? So how did they do it? And where's the slave ship? Some people say they decapitated or they deteriorated or they've sunk and all this stuff. Yeah, right. You got the new Ankh in Egypt right now, or when it's not in Egypt. I think it's in the Britain Mall. I don't. A British museum. One of those thieves museums. They even have the new Ankh, a ship that's old as hell. Wood. Then you got houses all around the world as old as hell that's still standing. Years old. Castles, all type of shit. But you can't find no slave ships. So you find no slave ships. Secondly, another one. I said secondly already, huh? Didn't I? Anyway, I'm just chilling, y'all. I'm just giving y'all just a smooth expression. First of all, I'm gonna break it down to people that's new to it, that want to hear it in a more simpler form rather than go through the actual document process. I recommend everyone to do that though. So let's put it like this: it's two histories when it comes to dealing with niggas here in America. It was the niggas that was already here, and was the niggas that they brought on a boat. And I don't mean the slave trade that they tell you about 12 million niggas. We talking about a few niggas. You know what I'm saying? We talking about a few niggas, really a few niggas, because it was millions of niggas already here, or what you would call niggas. We won't call them. And these people that was already here was not called Africans. They was not called anything else other than what they have created within their tribal names of they tribes. Okay, now these people were what you would call copper color people, meaning my copper color. Because I can get light, I can get real dark, I can get real coppery. It depends on the weather. Summertime coming, so I'm darkening up. Uh, um, you can look at well, what was I at? Let me go back. Yeah, and there's two niggas. So what I'm talking about is the copper color Aboriginal people who the colonists has took made pictures of through artists that said this is what I'm seeing now. Look at them niggas. They drawing this shit out. They ain't talking about no Asian looking people with straight hair. We had long straight hair, curly hair. Some of us had bald heads. Some of us had what you would call afros and fades, and we had all different tribes where their hair different, and we use different things. Some people probably don't remember the stuff called dog mane, but it's similar to what you call, what I'm saying, bear grease that a lot of people use. Like my daughter's black long hair. I'm saying? My mom had long brown long hair, freckles and gold and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then my dad and them is from the South. You know what I'm saying? My mom mother is from the South too, but they moved to the East Coast. It's the same thing. But these people didn't have no name until years later, until the colonists started renaming it. They ran into so many different tribes. Some of the tribes, some of us killed the motherfuckers straight out our right, straight up. And the originals that they met when they met in those 1400s, they wasn't right drawing no pictures of no mongoloid looking people in the 1400s. They were drawing pictures of niggas. Yes, it was mongoloids here. Okay, what you would call the Asian feature type, your Asians that was here. They can't, and some people, let's get this straight. A lot of people want to just talk about the barren strengths. They came in different ways from my study. Barren strengths is just one of them. They came running from a prosecution from a lot of things in Asia, China, and all that in Japan. They ran from a lot of prosecution up out of China and came to the coast of what you see is Mexico today. Boats and ships lined up running from different prosecutions from different type of emperors and stuff that wasn't taken, that was very strict and unjust and unworthy. They ran and they got here and they went and ran into the coast of what you call Mexico today too, and parts of California too, and they ran into what they call an indigenous people. And the people gotta understand is that black people is not in America is not trying to say we ashamed of being black because we don't like the word black that mean dead and it don't mean nothing. We ain't ashamed. That don't mean we ashamed of our color because we said we ain't African or whatever because we think that our color only come from just an African or we all just come from a region. We just basically saying that if a Nigerian was in fucking Libya or a Nigerian was in Ghana, he ain't finna go there and play himself off as one of them. Okay, he can because he look like him, but at the same time, are you really him? It's like claiming a set you ain't from. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at it from a gangbang perspective, you know what I'm saying. That's why I tell in one of my, if you go look at one of my videos on YouTube, I said Pan Africanism have to die, gotta die because I've been there 10 years and I know how far it go, and I know that it do recognize what's here, but they put the African tag on it. They put the African tag on everything that have a color. They put the African tag on everything that other people, melanated people of different tribes and different phenotypes from different groups of people have contributed to their country or they lands. That all of a sudden the African come and he's just take over everything. When Africa word ain't even 500, not even thousands, it's about thousands. Africa ain't even old like that. The word Africa ain't even old. So people say, well, you got brothers that, well, let's take away African then. Okay, but you still have the melanin. No, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing because you got people that's melanated that haven't even been on the coast. Okay, yes, melanated people was used, but was here first. Okay, but that don't mean we African or some shit like that. Melanated people was scattered amongst all these lands. Okay, before this land separated and broke, and so on and so forth. We were scattered amongst all these lands, and we separated after so many years of years evolving as a continental drift and separate niggas from each other. Okay, and we can't say, oh, that was the African army. No, this is one piece that broke off, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no such thing as no Africa. It wasn't no such thing as this. The thing about it is that people separated from each other and evolved into different things over years and years of evolving. Okay, so we we all be developed over the. Just picture this: everyone eating different for thousands and thousands of years, connecting with the higher powers for thousands and thousands of years in all they different fashions. You know, you got the comedics, you got the brothers that was here with feathers, bird gods, and things like that. You got the Asians over there with Buddha, the Hinduism over there with Krishnos. You know what I'm saying? We everyone had different avenues, and it's not. I found out through all these years, it's not one avenue of how to reach spirituality or what you would call the higher anarchy, a consciousness, or a spiritual awakening. There's many doors. There's many doors, and there's many deities that appear to people in many different forms. Even though we can blame Inky and Allele according to recorded documents of a lot of this. Okay, interrupting with the family, the human evolution by taking away from our DNA and shutting down things that we once had that connected us directly. So we have to do a lot more work to connect with the Most High or the Godfather or Allah or the Jesus or whatever you want to call your spiritual leader or deity. Okay. Um, when the colonists got over here, this land has always been sought for, but they was looking for somewhere to survive. They know they did Africa, but they know they had a lot more work to do. But they always wind up already coming over here. When they was coming over here, they was taking a lot of indigenous aboriginals to a lot of the Caribbean islands, Britain, and different places, even though they have been brainwashed over there to believe that there's something better than what's over here. Because they went over there and got brainwashed. They think they some other people because that's the way the Europeans taught them as well. As a European, they taught us to believe that we're in Africa and we've been aiding Africa for all these damn years, and Africa still ain't got on its feet. We've been aiding Africa. Some people don't know the aid that Arthur Ashe. I don't know if anybody know of Arthur Ashe because I don't see him being put in the media more. I need to start putting him out there because he done contribute a lot to Africa. And then actually he wind up supposed to be dying of AIDS when in the process of that when they was already doing that stuff over there in Africa. So we don't know. More likely today, as we can see now, they probably killed the man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings to Arthur Ashe. I mean, Arthur Ashe went over there believing that he from Africa and went over there and was helping apartheid during those times. He was helping apartheid in the 80s and stuff. He was over there doing his thing. He was a number one. He was the best black tennis player in his time at that time. You know what I'm saying? Remember Arthur Ashe, youngsters, go look him up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't see too many black brothers in tennis. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got Serena and Williams and and them. But it's some brothers that was doing it too. And Arthur Ashe was more than just a tennis player. He went over there and dealt with the Africans trying to help who he thought was his people. That's why we don't get nowhere. We don't. They're there asking, hey, give it to us, give it to us. But when we leave, you know what I'm saying, they got millions and billions of dollars too. But they money, they don't come over there and help them. They not getting on their media and talking about black people, and I ain't talking about one person. I'm talking about majority of their stuff. It's for African people, from Nigerian people, from Wakandan people, from Ethiopian people. They're gonna dictate their countries. Okay, totally. You know what I'm saying? So what's the problem with us dictating our country? Talking about, you know what I'm saying, this is where I'm from. I am an American, what they would call an American Negro. I am an indigenous Aboriginal American. I'm a Negro. You Africans hate me because the Europeans used us to go to war with y'all when they brought us over there. In Liberia, time, go look it up. Africans have a lot of reasons to hate Negroes because not saying hate us because we forced it, but that we did it willingly. But we was forced, we was put in a form of slavery that they was using us during military purposes to going out there to catch Africans and all that type of shit. But y'all don't want to go study that history though. It's more it's history all around. It's no one level of history, man. Let's let people know that it's not no level or one level of history. You know, and when the black people that was here when the European came here to colonize this land, it took them a long time, a while, like 1600, early 1600 when they first brought the Africans here. And then what they did, along with the Mongoloid who teamed up with him, that was here for thousands of years before he came, okay, living amongst us, a dweller in this land, a native in this land, you know what I'm saying? Before they came, they you look how they lived, you know what I'm saying? We didn't actually just naturally always just live in like teepees and things like that. We had other sophisticated more brothers and sisters all up in the East Coast that was living in houses and all type of stuff in the Californians and so on and so forth. So let's not believe the myth that's being told us on TV. We lived in multiple different ways. We had government, we had what you would call presidency, you know, we call them chiefs or whatever, kings, queens, whatever. It's all the same thing, different titles and shit. We had that establishment here. We had food, we got the resources, we have all that stuff here already. So everyone is scrounging for the new world. That's why the white folks are fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Whites fighting each other, the red coat, the blue coats, and you know it's the civil wars. They fighting for this country and fight, and niggas fighting along with them. Our ancestors fall along right with them. You know what I'm saying? In their own land just to get annexed. Annexed. It's a shame. But we still want to sit here and do we ever think about why nothing worked for us? Why the African thing didn't work for us, even during the Garvey movement? Why this African thing is not working for us? Because there's some kind of force. I would call it our energy ancestral force. It's not allowing us to continue to sacrifice ourselves and our focus and our attention on a country that got its own problems that they need to deal with amongst their own people. We are so different soul people over here. Okay. People say we're Africans. Okay, why the Africans can't do what we do over here? I mean, all we mixed with all the great stuff. Okay, well, we was doing a lot of things over here before it was the so-called European man. We got better built pyramids, older mummies, and so on and so forth over here. So it's a lot more questioning to be wondering. You wonder why every people talk about schools, talk about, hey, they had you thinking about Egypt. You know what I'm saying? When there's a lot more places in Egypt than just Egypt. You have Nubia, you have Timbuktu. You have a lot of schools of thoughts out there, a lot of big institutions, a lot of places with castles, or they call them kazirs. It's a lot of things, a lot more things in Africa. A lot of brothers just want to talk about the Kemetic knowledge. I mean, that's the place where a lot of things were recorded, and it was like you would say the capital what you would say a capital of Africa at these times. You know you go get the higher learning, all the technologies there. That's like going to the government and say, hey, I need help in these lands over here and so on and so forth. Can you help me, King? Can you help me, Pharaoh? Pharaoh said, all right, I'm gonna send some people over there and help y'all get that trench ready so y'all can get some water and y'all and read. You know, those are the type of things that they dealt with. Vice versa over here too. You know, you got the chief. You know what I'm saying? You got the women chief, the male chiefs. Anybody could be, but the women was always more the ones who make final say. The woman always has been respected here too, as well as it has she's been respected in Egypt, as well as well. I don't know about China. China them changed a lot of stuff when the European man turned Buddhism white, but that's another story. A lot of things that we have to know is not based upon a religion. Religion is not history, total history. Religion is not your intelligence. See, a lot of people think because he know some scriptures in the Bible or scriptures in the or some surahs in the Quran, they think that that person is very knowledgeable. No, he just know that fucking book. That's all he know. That's just like a kid. You give them a good book, they can read that book all day long and point out everything in that book. They just know that book. Give them a whole nother total book. They're gonna look at you dumb like, oh, what's this one? I don't know nothing about this one. I only know that one. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell somebody they wrong about something when you haven't done the research they have. Let alone a person saying, hey, I used to be a Christian. Hey, I used to be a Muslim. Hey, I used to be this. I used to be that. When they say they used to be, they either say, you got to look at it, either fell off or got worse, or did they advance? So if they have advanced the stuff that you don't even know about, why you want to sit here and try to argue and try to convince a person about something they mastered that you just now in and you so hyped about it's going to be new to you? It's elementary. It's no disrespect to people ideologies or people way of lives that they choose to follow, whether they lies or whatever. It's no disrespect to that. Truth just have to come. Truth have to be what it is. Truth is there to bring justice. Truth is there to bring balance. Truth is there to separate the real from the fake. You get what I'm saying? Straight up. The tear, as you say in the Bible, the tear from the wheat. You know what I'm saying? The truth is there for that. And no, I'm not saying that I have all the truth, but I know enough truth to know that what people doing is not the truth. Because I done played those games and mastered them, took them to their maxes. It don't make me no special person. I'm not claiming to be no special person, a holy person. I'm not rich. I'm living my life and going through hell just like everybody else in this hell. You know what I'm saying? I just happen to continue to keep myself enlightened above this mentally, despite the physicalities that comes in this matrix. Uh, so I don't really give a damn if a person is an African, I mean a Pan Africanist, an Aboriginal, a Hebrew Israelite, a RBG, a pro-black, Christianized, Islamic. The thing is that we all those things right now as we speak today, and we do it better than all of them. Where have it gotten us? Hmm? Where are we at right now? Hmm? Where are we at? Hmm? Still in the same spot. We're not getting anywhere due to the fact that we continue to allow falsehood to linger in our confinement. We continue to allow false things that was taught to us to rule our judgment. We continue to allow false or fake things to alter our focus on focusing on who we are and in you as an individual yourself. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of vices that been given to us by our enemy that created us to be our own enemy, that bred us to be our own enemy. And we that to this day. A lot of motherfuckers can't stand hearing me say this. A lot of you niggas want to see a nigga die for just because he's saying I'm not African. And a lot of you niggas ain't African. A lot of you niggas can't put up no stuff saying you African. Then a lot of people say, well, prove you African. Well, look, I'm not finna be up here putting my ancestors, my birth certificate, my mama birth certificate, my grandmother birth certificate, and her birth certificate, and her death certificate all on site, online for your motherfucking ass. You need to just go follow suit and go see if it's true if you's a fucking researcher. Go prove you ain't from Africa. But no one had put no information up yet to prove they ain't from Africa. Why? Because there ain't no documents of your ass coming from Africa. It ain't no documents because all those slave master documents they got didn't say you was from Africa. No slave documents that say nothing but you were just cattle. You were just something being sold to the next person to the next person. It ain't say nothing. Oh, he came from off the ship. Oh, he's from Africa. Oh, he can do this. Well, a lot of people in the Caribbean can say that. I will agree to that because that's the majority where a lot of them took the Africans at. Okay, that's what majority of them was dropped off at. It was easier to drop them off there. It was easier to get to those islands for the other way around rather than straight through the fucking Atlantic. Transatlantic trade, slave trade is a fucking hoax. Okay? It's impossible and it don't exist. They keep talking about, oh, it's a million Africans in the ocean. Oh, it's 100,000 Africans in the ocean. Oh, okay. If it is, Most High, bless their souls. But you know what? Mm. They took so little bit of people from Africa. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. Africa's so big. You think it affected Africa? You think the whole African knew people was taking some people from one little part of their country? Do you think they knew all that? That's why a lot of people in Africa don't know about the slave trade. They didn't know about what was going on in Americas as well as around the world. You know, and when I say Pan Africanism got to die and religion got to die and all that. This doesn't mean that I don't understand you guys trying to be good people or a good person because I was there too. That's because I was a Muslim for 15 years. Don't mean even though I was following that ideology, don't mean that I wasn't a good person. I just was a good person being led astray, a good person blinded by what he need to be focusing on. Truly, that's basically what you guys are. Okay, and I understand that it's the good in you that push you there to try to have something to keep the quality of yourself moral and good. So you using these directions or guidelines that these European and Arabs laid out for themselves to follow. But you really don't have to follow it because you already naturally know all these things. They don't naturally know those things. So those rules and laws given to them. You know what I'm saying? These are confessions that we don't understand that our soul have to make or take. It's not your physical. But that's another story in itself, you know. I'm not gonna get all into that. Then the brother, oh, why you getting into comedic knowledge? Why you getting into that knowledge? Well, first of all, for you comedic brothers, because I've been there, done that too. I even got stuff on it, so I got stuff all in my house on it. So it ain't nothing you can tell me. The thing is that motherfucker, this knowledge is older than Egypt. Okay, that knowledge that's wasn't there that's older than Egypt. And at the same time, a lot of motherfuckers gotta understand that nobody didn't really they didn't like build all those pyramids. See, a lot of those pyramids was already there when a lot of those brothers came there or was born there. You know what I'm saying? We gotta understand that there was other beings living on this planet prior to what we would call human beings today. There was other entities, other type of life forces living here prior to us. It's a lot of fights that happened for this place. A lot of Star Wars was going on over this place. A lot of things were going over in this place, and then the evil motherfucker won. Okay, understand that. We got a hollow. We want to look at stuff. It's about look up the hollow earth. You can call it pseudo, whatever. Learn everything because everything is a puzzle that connects you to another and another, another, another. And you ain't gonna never ever know all the truth. You're never gonna get all the mysteries. You're never gonna get it. So the thing is to find important shit. What do I do with my soul? How do I save my soul? How do I not come back to this living hell? How do I not come back to this living hell to be tortured, have to pay bills and get up 9 to 5s and have to pay taxes and all these fucking vices that this beast done created to make people suffer and slave for this system? And that's what we are. Indeed, myself as well, because we're in a position where we cannot help it due to the fact that evolved into our slavery, not just black people. I'm saying everybody in general. It's slavery for another white person to hate a black person because that's a mentality that was get mentality from the slave master that was used to enslave people. You get what I'm saying? So you're using the same analogy, so it doesn't matter. Okay, but the fact is this. This is what I basically wanted to lay down before because I've been talking. It's a little lengthy. So I'm just conversating, yapping to y'all. I'm not here with hella magazines and books. That's some other brothers. I'm just giving y'all a rundown on it. You know what I'm saying? Many of y'all has been lied to about who you are. Your grandma, you always been told in your family that I got Indian in me, but yet you the goddamn Indian. That's just like a black person got a little Chinese. They got a black person got some Asian eyes, and he'll say, "Hey, you Asian, you are Asian, you got Asian in you. You know, what I'm saying? You got Asian in you. You really can because Asian." But the thing is that when you say Asian, you got to think about what Asian you talking about. The pale Asian, or you talking about the original black Asian? You know what I'm saying? Which Asian you talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's another story. It's so many different ways we can look at this shit. But at the same time, understand this: the Aboriginal people of America, the Black African, the so-called African Americans, majority of you, okay, are indigenous to this land. Majority of you are. Why? Because we powerful here. Everything we do, we're powerful. We're better at a lot of things than every other race here on the planet. Okay, and people say, well, "What about y'all ain't thinking right?" Well, yeah, we're a manipulated force that's coming out of that slumber that been placed on us to keep us lost, keep us docile, to keep us scared and fearful, to keep us praying for shit that's supposed to help us but never help us. Those are things that's keeping us weak as a people. And we're using all of our powers in the wrong way. All you giants on them basketball and football fields and all that, you don't supposed to be using your energy for that. The white man created that, gave you money so you can be focusing your energy on entertaining his ass rather than beating his motherfucking ass. See, that's another story in itself. Yeah, I know I be going out there though, but hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just I'm gonna be loading up a lot more stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because what we do today, we have to understand that we have to work with the tools we given. Okay, we've been given a lot of fucked up tools. Okay, a lot of people say, "Well, how we gonna get ourselves?" Well, hey, you got to work with some of these white folks is willing to work with you, and it's some there. Okay, that don't mean they like you hellified your friend, but then you have some that out there that say, look, man, I ain't with that, man. I'm giving you opportunity, whatever. They out there, okay. And a lot of people say, well, you ain't pro-black. Well, I am pro-black in many ways than one, but I do understand one thing that a lot of brothers don't want to say. Being pro-black and not having the resources to get what you got to be independent don't mean shit. Okay, they got the resources. A lot of the people got resources that we don't got. We got a gang of shoes and fucking cars. That's all we got as a people and jury and shit. We don't got shit else. We ain't got no factories. We ain't got no fucking stations. We ain't got nothing that every other race that came in this motherfucker got. Mexicans got Mexican shows and all that stuff. People like, what about BET? Sold out as soon as he got a big check. You know, I mean, I don't understand sometimes, but I do. You know, I do know the trick that's being played on us as well as all other people in America. A lot of white people in America know who you are, especially a lot of them fake Indians on the reservations know who you are, but they're not going to tell you. They're gonna make you think that you some old African from over there. The reason why you here is because we brought you over to become a slave and we just freed your ass. You don't have no fucking rights. That's why. Another thing, let me tap on this because I know that this is kind of lengthy. So let me collaborate on that. The ADOS, the African descendants of slaves. You know what? I'm not even gonna put that in there. I'm gonna make that a separate one because that one is a little more. That's a tricky one there. But this is just a rant video, just a streaming video of a diary of a madman, because that's what everybody called me. They called Malcolm a madman too, huh? And not knowing he was the prophet. He was the prophet. Malcolm was the prophet. I'm not gonna speak on the ADOS. That's gonna be a whole nother thing. Malcolm is the prophet. Give tribute to Malcolm. Big up to Malcolm. Malcolm was the truth. Malcolm did what he supposed to have did, and our own killed him. And I don't compare no Nipsey Hussle or none of them to them brothers. You know what I'm saying? You niggas got a lot of fucking nerves. But and that's another story in itself. Um, but understand that you are indigenous to this land. Go look this shit up. Go look at your grandma records, your grandma birth certificate, your mother's grandma birth certificate, your grandma's birth certificate. You can buy these mugs. Go to Vital Records. You can go buy your ancestors' certificate. They be like $100, $80. It depends what state you in. You can buy these. Whatever state your ancestors in, you buy. You can do that. Then you can go down to public records. You go look up archives and shit. I had a lot of uncles that played that fought in some wars and shit way back. You know. You can find your family through that way. You can't go to no motherfucking African and say, hey, I want to see records of all the Africans that was took in here because I think I'm one of y'all. They gonna look at you like you motherfucking crazy. Ain't got no record or document to prove your ass from Africa. You ain't got no relatives coming over there from Africa saying, hey, Uncle Mongo, come to visit you in America. How you do, my brother? Ah, yeah, this is my American cousin. Yeah. Unless like today, African men and women come over here with their weird asses and marry one of us or have a baby by one of us, and then yeah, they can do that. You can see that. You know what I'm saying? You can actually see that. You know what I'm saying? You can document that today. Some of y'all can, but you're gonna be very new doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because they wasn't letting all that happen way back. So I'm just giving you a little knowledge of how that is. Ain't no African gonna call them. I want you to stop doing that to our people. Ain't none of them saying that about us. We want to come over there. We gonna help them. They ain't saying that over there. We over here. We gonna stop the police from doing it. They ain't saying that over there. They ain't even over here protesting with us. They ain't even they're back for us here. We talk more about and support more about Africa than Africa do they self to us. We the one talk about Kemet and how great Africa is and all these things. That's all I see. A lot of our scholars, so-called scholars, brothers on that level, talking about how great it is over there, but none of them live over there. That's one thing. Especially another thing. Why you only talking about Egypt? Why we were talking about Egypt? Because we don't want to talk about the other shit. Because Egypt is a higher sell commodity, a higher pitch. It's still a wonderment to a lot of people in the world, so it sells better. And then people talking about, hey, Ethiopia, this is the life in Ethiopia. I am Ethiopian, and they don't want to hear that boring shit. That's why they use that shit because it sells, and then they got all the mysteries and all those type of things there. You know what I'm saying? Who don't want to claim to be great? But every race melanated race as is great in their own way, but they're not great for the fact they all the same. They all great from their own way. They all great. We're great people over here. They're great people over there, and all of us have different abilities that out supersedes others. Do y'all agree? You know what I'm saying? So we can't put the African diaspora on everybody that doesn't belong. You gotta do it to the Australians. You gotta, and and even things we're talking about. Australia was the first piece of landmass that popped up. It's the oldest landmass on the planet. Okay, okay. So who we tell? Who was we to tell that we ain't from somewhere? The European man is the one doing these recordings. You understand what I'm saying? He the one doing these recordings. And then you gotta understand this, that when European people, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get in there because I'm saving that for that one. You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings, y'all. I'm just ranting, giving y'all a little rundown on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You are indigenous to America. Majority of you, so-called African Americans. Go look it up. Don't go on the internet looking for this shit. Don't go in Google and you ain't gonna find that shit in Google. You gonna find that shit in them records. You know what I'm saying? Go get your mother's birth certificate. Go tell your mother or your grandmother if you live with them, can I see your birth certificate? Because on her birth certificate gonna be her mother and father name. And then once you get her birth certificate, you go put in money to go get her father or mother's birth certificate. A lot of them you ain't gonna be able to find. You're going to go through other ways to find them, like the death certificates, because a lot of these places burn down a lot of records, census records places, so people won't find out who belonged to this and who belonged to that. So a lot of stuff been, a lot of paper genocide been done to our people. So it's kind of hard for us to really find every deep detail. But one thing you gotta understand is that when them crackers is drawing or writing back to the king or the queen or whoever they hierarchy that's paying them or whatever they doing, when they write back to their people, they're not gonna lie. They're not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say what it is. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say, hey, this is what I seen. Hey, I seen these people. I seen these people this color, unlike the Ethiopian. I seen these people. Here's the drawings. You go read their stuff, you're gonna find truth in their stuff because they gotta keep it 100. Because if they get caught lying, them motherfuckers will be headed, get beheaded lying to the queen. You know what I'm saying? So peace and blessings, y'all. This is Jay Coleman, and I'm out. I just dropped by, to say a little something, y'all. I may post, I may not. Hope somebody got something out of it, but I'll get more in detail later. Right now, I just been ranting about it because still people up there thinking because they know something else different from somebody else. They think they something better than somebody. I don't understand. Peace and blessings.